Well, hi guys, yeah, as I said before, I'm Vince Knight, the cinematographer.
Hello, I'm Craig David Dowsett and I play Winnie the Pooh.
And I'm Andrew Scott Bell and I'm the film composer. And this is the violin.
Yeah, go on, do as long as it's sitting there, do give the story of that and its perhaps part in the film.
Yeah, I played it so often in the film, so if you listen to the soundtrack, it's all over the place. When I signed on to do this movie, I remembered reading a New Yorker article about an experimental violinist, and one sentence popped out to me and like popped back in my brain, and it was that he put a violin inside of a beehive just to see what would happen. And so I emailed him, his name is Tyler Thackeray, and I said, hey, whatever happened to that beehive, violin? And he said, oh, I forgot about it.
Like, what the hell else is this guy doing with violins if he forgot about
He puts them in dishwashers, he grills them on the barbecue.
I mean, that's just setting shit on fire. That's not grilling. I put wood on a barbecue and that's called kindling.
Well, I guess it's kindling.
I don't know.
So he said, do you want, why do you ask? And I was like, can I use it? And he was like, you can have it. So Mike Rosen, my manager, and I drove up and took it out with Tyler, and here it is. That's the short version.
So with you, you obviously, what a non-honeycombed violin is supposed to sound like. How did you find, what sensation, what effect did that produce being in that you actually liked and wanted to use?
Yeah, I mean, at first it was just going to be a gimmick. I thought, it's going to be silly. We're going to have fun, and I'm going to play a beehive violin. But we opened it up, and there's actually honeycomb on the inside, and it sounds quite different. It's not as resonant, but it's also more nasally. It is a totally, I'm gonna get dirty, cut me off.
Yeah.
But the neck isn't attached to the body like it is on a normal violin. It's attached to the beehive frame. So this wood is not as strong as the violin wood. So I can't bring the strings to full tension like I could on a normal violin. And so it has a much lower, I don't want to spend too much time on the violin.
Okay, that's fine.
But there is a bow around here somewhere if you guys want to hear it.
I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I am going to play it. Clever. Oh, there we go. What the sound assist. That does sound so haunted.
So that's it.
Craig, since you came in with the assist there on the violin, has the novelty worn off of saying your name and saying I'm Winnie the Pooh?
Not yet.
Okay, good.
A little bit longer.
What was one always asks, so how did you come to this role? But seriously, how did you come to this role?
Well, once I come on board, read the script, and I was like, yeah, this is going to be fun. let's do this. Getting into costume, putting that mask on, it's an iconic figure.
Yeah.
It wasn't without its challenges. Think of being half blind, deaf, and you can't breathe. So on top of trying to make him as scary as possible.
How was that on set with people getting accustomed to you? Because it's pretty grotesque looking. It's not like, oh, I think this bear might mean well. It's pretty clear that you don't. So what was that like, with the cast encountering you and you encountering each other and being like, this is the terms and conditions of what we're doing. I'm evil Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, basically it was making Winnie the Pooh scary because he's kind of goofy, so.
Yeah.
The first challenge is how do you turn that into a scary figure? But no, we had a lot of fun with it. I took inspiration from other horror icons like Michael Myers,
sure.
Jason Voorhees.
He's a real walking stalker in this movie.
That's right. And with the rest of the cast, once I put that mask on, it was business. I was going for them.
I was wondering if I was looking for too many Easter eggs, but what you whip Christopher. Oh, that is frightening. What you whip Christopher Robin with, is that Eeyore's tail?
Yes, that is Eeyore's tail.
Yeah, I was that's gotta be something.
No.
Did it have a bow on it and everything? Did it
Yes.
have-
Yeah.
And the nail, I think that's why it's so
Yeah.
effective. Yeah.
That's right, the nail, because you have to pin the tail on the donkey.
Yeah, I was gonna whip the shit out of it.
And when you are, you're coming into this, you're like, I'm gonna build the cinematic language of Dark Winnie the Pooh. What were those conversations like about the director? Like, obviously it's horror movie. It doesn't matter that it's Winnie the Pooh. Like, ambiance, like it all. It's the mise en scène is part of building the horror narrative. But were there any kind of particular approaches you wanted to come at this with, given that it is this iconic character and playing with light and shadow and stuff?
This is working, by the way. Basically, we just wanted it to be as fun and cinematic as possible, and kind of.
It's me. I'm the problem. It's me. Sorry, Vince.
But yeah, just trying to make it as fun as possible, really, and keep it dark and moody, and have as much sort of dynamic lighting as possible, the sort of flickering, flashing lights, and just try and keep it interesting, really. We had a very, very tight schedule, very tight budget. The budget hasn't been officially announced, but
I mean, say it if you want. I'm not gonna stop you, but I'm not gonna ask.
it's under 50 grand.
So, okay, but thank you for this detail, because what are the conversations like where it's like, we want to make this movie look like it's punching out of its league price-wise? What are tricks as a pro where you're like, this is how you make it look expensive, this is how you make it look production value? Like, what are you doing to hack the sub 50K?
Just fog loads of smoke, backlight, and just chaotic camera movements. In the swimming pool, try and keep it hectic underwater. We had the original production was 8 days, so that kind of puts it into perspective how tight this was. We then obviously, when the film went viral, we went back and we did some additional photography to kind of make it a bit better. So originally Christopher Robin was killed off in the opening sequence, and we sort of brought him back with the torture scenes and then at the ending. So that was all additionally shot, so we did a few extra days to kind of make it a bit better.
I was extremely unimpressed with Christopher Robin's initiative in this movie. I felt like he could have done more at many points, and those women were outclassing him in every way. Andrew, do you get a mandate when it's like, this is Winnie the Pooh, the scary movie, so come devise thoughts, plans, samples, come back with feedback, or are you given a lot of direction up front for like how they want this to sound? What's the back and forth on creating the soundscape here?
Yeah, thanks. That's a great question. It was a little bit of back and forth, but the thing I liked and had a really fun time working with Reese was that he never really said no to the he was always like, let me hear it. Weird violins. One of my first pitches to him was, we've got to get a choir to sing Blood and Honey in Latin. And what he said was, that sounds expensive.
Right, yeah.
And I said, oh, I got it. And it's actually just me 25 times singing it later.
I was gonna ask how much your voice might have come into play in this. One of my favorite articles I ever wrote for Vulture was talking to Colin Stetson about the score that he did for Hereditary, and it's fascinating how much just like even the clicks of parts of the clarinet are worked in as sounds in it, and obviously he's doing vocal work in it. And I wondered about any sort of side door routes you took into sound creation that way.
Oh, it's vocals. Winnie the Pooh's adult main theme is 24, I think, layers of me playing the cello, which is 3 times larger than an orchestral cello section. So I wanted the biggest cello section you've ever heard, just rum, that I played a lot of the violins. I obviously played the beehive violin. I think I played some trumpet solos, and there's one clarinet solo when they're rescuing Christopher Robin. I just, I never want just like Vince, just like any of us, you never want budget limitations to make it feel like there's budget limitations.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that means I just end up playing a lot of instruments because I want it to feel real.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fun when you don't have the budget, you have to find creative solutions to kind of get things done.
Yeah.
And often that leads to things being more interesting.
Yeah.
And anybody who's ever made anything in here. And Craig, with like you said, you can't breathe, you can't see, you can't all of this. Like, talk about like staying in character when the very costume you're wearing is fighting against you. To be like, I'm gonna pass out any second, but I'm gonna make it through this.
Yeah, there was some tough moments, like the bit at the beginning where I'm running through the forest chasing the girl. That was quite a warm afternoon, wasn't it? And see, I had a layer on top of my head. It was basically a thermal hat to build up a layer so the mask wouldn't slip down over my eyes. So that just ramped up the heat inside there because it was very claustrophobic. So I had sweat dripping down inside.
I remember us just kind of going through and clearing sticks to try
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, guys, I can't see.
Well, I guess you know, both either, you know, whoever was on set, Kit, I want to hear from you guys about what is the sort of like you said, you're out there clearing sticks to get stuff out of the way. What is sort of the all hands on deck collaborative nature of a set where of the barest means? And I would imagine, like, you know, everybody has their specific role to play, but perhaps maybe, I don't know, lines are being blurred a little bit to just like get things done. I wanted to hear about that.
So the crew for the principal photography was 8 people, including sort of director, and yeah, everyone just got stuck in with everything. We didn't have an art department. We didn't have makeup on set every day.
Oh wow.
So it was yeah, all hands on deck, and yeah.
This one seems like you really want the makeup team around to.
Well, I mean, yeah, Rebecca did an amazing job, but she was there for the deaths. But a lot of the days, yeah, it was just kind of like, do it yourself.
Well, hell, that great DIY, everybody. Yes, Andrew, you
Oh, no,
the mic there?
just trying not to feedback, so I'm holding the microphone like close.
Well, what were, like, you know, were there any sort of creative solves that you found yourself at? Were there any sort of points in the score where maybe, like, you had to crack something that you weren't sure of, or you had to do something, or like, I don't know if I'm really getting, like, you know, talking to screenwriters about, like, what's the hardest scene you had to write, you know, getting through something, what was maybe sort of a particularly tricky point in the score where you really maybe wanted to go big and figure out how to do that, or something perhaps tiny and imperceptible that we might not notice, but that just, like, really brings home a key point in the score for you?
Well, thanks. That's a really good question. I remember when I was watching the rough cut of this movie, and all the sound was still raw and unedited, and I heard, like, in particular, but throughout the whole movie, but in particular particularly the scene where Pooh slaps. I know Amber. I don't remember her character name. Alice. Pooh slaps Alice because he thinks that she's drooling over his honey pot.
Oh,
And
okay.
he slaps her and he's slapping her, and that slapping goes on for, like, you know, it feels like 50 minutes. But all the crew in the background was laughing as Craig is just slapping. And I was like, Reese, is this supposed to be scary? Like, you know, like, I want to get the vibe right. Like, I think it's hysterical. And he was like, no, let's play into that. So I think the hardest for me scoring the movie was, like, where do we bring some comedy? You know, like, not every death has to be, like, brutal. Where do we bring, like, the woman getting honey poured on her face so that Piglet can eat it? Like, can that be funny? Is that supposed to be scary? Is that supposed to be funny?
Is that supposed to be kinky? I don't know.
Yeah, like,
There is a lot of bondage.
we didn't remark that.
Yeah, no, Piglet has hobbies. Come on now. Well, yeah, and so what is? Do you have a favorite kill scene that you in particularly enjoyed carrying off?
Yeah, it's definitely the car scene with the head. Oh yeah, definitely.
I love how it's him with a whole girl, and then we look away, we look back, and it's just him with a head in his hands. Like, oh, you bastard!
Yeah, no, my favourite death scene was when I was running.
Ran over
I was
the
head over with the car.
Which car death scene?
Yeah, which car?
Oh yeah. But yeah, where else are you going to see Winnie the Pooh in a car? Running someone's head over. So that stood out for me. That was one of my favourites. Yeah.
I always wonder how does he drive? When did he learn?
Yeah.
Don't ask these questions.
A lot of YouTube videos.
Okay, speaking of don't ask these questions, I do have to ask this one because I really had to go to the bathroom. I missed the part where, like, she runs, like, she clearly obtains a gun that I assume she's brought with her. Is there any mention of that it's like a nickel-plated 6-shooter, or we're just taking that?
We just
Because I loved it. I was like, she has some panache with this stuff.
This just happened to be the gun that the producers had.
That was so good.
And I'm like, this is so not. Firstly, in England we don't have guns, and secondly,
Yeah. It's why it's the only gun you have. Like, so why we have this gun? I don't know.
if she's gonna have a gun for protection, it's not gonna be that. But yeah, it's fine.
No, that was really. I really love that. Like. My personal protection device is a 6-shooter revolver.
With one bullet.
Now that's an English gun owner. An American would never. An American would never. Did you, as the director of photography, have a favorite death to shoot? Or was there one that required sort of the most of you with inventiveness to really summon the effect that you wanted?
It's so difficult. I mean, they're all fun deaths. I mean, we had so much fun with so many of them. I think the swimming pool is one of the ones that hits hardest because
I was kind of thinking about that myself.
When he clocks her, it really sells well, and we kind of added in a CGI jaw flying off her, and all the blood and stuff. So that one was really fun, kind of getting in the pool with the underwater shots. So yeah, maybe that one.
Yeah, I do. I like the two. Another one where like we look down and it's like a face turned away, then we look back again. There's just a hole, and she just looks almost like a succubus. Andrew, where were you having the most fun? Where you were like, listen, I'm gonna put a hat on a hat. Like this piece could be done, but maybe I'm gonna hit the gas a little harder, and I'm gonna add more. Like you said, like 25 layers of you and a cello.
I think I had the most fun in that scene. It happens twice. The scene where I can't remember her name, but the actress's name is Danny, is circling the fire pit with Piglet, and it's just this dual moment.
That's
Oh, just like they're gonna go at it. That was a lot of fun.
My AC was just aggressively stoking the fire.
Oh yeah.
Had like a stick in there, like just below frame. He's there. Like.
But I also had a lot of fun with the swimming pool death because by the time I think I was scoring that, the trailer had come out. So I knew that everyone had seen that death. So I just was like, you build, and then you stop on that shot, and anyone who's seen the trailer goes, I know what's coming.
Right.
And it just happens, no music, just let it go, and then the music comes back in. It was fun that was effective because there's no music,
Yeah. And like you were saying, you like the way it kind of started to jump off, and you go back and you shoot more. Was that when their additional shooting was carried off? Was that a total surprise to you guys, or was it kind of like, well, we're gonna put a pin in this, maybe we'll come back and do some more, or was it like, oh, we have to kind of scramble and build this out?
So after the initial photography, we had a complete film. We had a product that was ready to go. It was originally going to be just a straight to DVD kind of thing, and obviously it went viral, it blew up, it was everywhere. We kind of woke up to it being international news. So we were like, shit, everyone's going to see this.
Oh no, everyone's going to see my movie!
So we're like, yeah.
That old problem.
So we, mad scramble to kind of get things going and make it better.
Was that just like being on a text thread with everyone, being like, you free?
Yeah.
Like, how, like, that logistically seems kind of wild to pull up.
I mean, when was the original shoot?
End of April, beginning of May.
Yeah, so there was quite a few months in post where we had time to go back and shoot. I think we actually had 2 main sort of shoots after that, and then a few little pickups here and there that went on forever. But
you guys did pickups in October, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did pickups in October because I remember having to score after that. Yeah.
I remember having to
I had to score the movie for the second time.
And Craig, for being the titular character, I just wanted to hear your perspective specifically on like watching this really jump off in Mexico and like were you part of the press junket? Did you?
Yes, yeah.
How was that? How was that watching that reception happen?
That was amazing. It was phenomenal. How it was all done, it was really, really good. I had a great time there. The fans were amazing. Yeah.
We had people meeting us at the airport wearing costumes.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Signing like masks that we didn't even know had been made. It was crazy.
It was, yeah.
Well, congratulations on that, you guys. Like, way to Like you're like, this is gonna go straight to VOD, which that's how we watch movies now. Is that's in no way like any kind of value declaration about something, but then to suddenly have the future of this thing pivot from what I would imagine any of you had conceived of it being, like, that's amazing. So congratulations on this.
I've just come from Amsterdam as well. We had the European premiere last night.
How are they greeting it in Amsterdam?
They love it. It's sold out all the screenings and all the cinemas. So 114 cinemas in Amsterdam.
Wow.
And every single screening is sold out. So.
The IP that I never knew we were all waiting for. Shoot. Well, I guess if there was anything in your madcap 8 days of shooting that you feel like we should know about, any triage moments of saving a scene at the last second, any catastrophes averted, heroic moments that you'd like to share?
I know one from Reese. I know what Reese would say. I think I know what Reese would say, and it's the swimming pool death. When you guys showed up on set, right? The ceiling was really low, so you changed that swing to a side swing, and I think the side swing is more effective.
No, that
over the
worked
swing.
Great.
That's what, yeah. I mean, he said that at the press junket, and I was like, oh my god, the side swing is so.
Yeah, there's a lot of hate in that
Yeah.
swing. Really sells. What were you going to say something? Oh no!
Maybe if you ask questions, I'll remember.
Yeah, does anybody out there have a question they would like to ask? We've got Red Sleeve.
Yeah. So I can kind of just imagine it. I can kind of just imagine the pool scene, and I thought it would be kind of funny because obviously it was more intense when it showed the camera underwater, but like how funny was it just like slowly walking towards someone and someone screaming.
I mean, I guess they're way down with their clothes, but they're very slow-moving characters because it kind of drags it out, I guess, and it's fun. She's just like, I don't know why she doesn't just swim away and just get out. But.
I guess for the same reason Christopher Robin never saves anyone in this movie.
It's literally all his fault.
Yeah, it's literally all his fault.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
What happened to Tigger and Rabbit? They were in the beginning, and then they were just gone.
So Tigger isn't in public domain, so we can't legally use him. Yeah, but he is soon.
Oh!
Yeah. Winnie the Pooh shall return.
Yeah.
Do we have anybody else? Oh, I see. I think glasses.
Yes, Patty. As somebody who loves a good haunted set of woods, where was your haunted set of woods?
We actually shot in where 100 Acre Wood is based.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Very, very near to where it is actually based in the books. Yeah, so that was it. Just happened to be where we found cool Airbnbs to shoot in. Good locations, but yeah, it was just like, holy shit, we're here and we're ruining things for real.
2022, Airbnb, the good Airbnbs are at the 100 Acre Wood, you guys.
We're banned from going back to the Airbnb. They hate us.
I was gonna ask if you guys all stayed in one consolidated spot.
Yeah, it was all just, well, there was different areas for different parts of the shoot, but we lived on set in the Airbnbs, and yeah. One of them is used for multiple locations. The opening, the bit with her doctor, that was the same location as all the flashbacks,
Oh.
and it was also the same house where the girls went and stayed. So we just, different angles.
Yeah. Oh, did we have a note, or that was putting on a hat? Okay, yes, hand up. Okay.
Wait, was your original plan to kill off all the girls, or did that just happen?
Originally Maria survives. In the very first version of the film, the girls run out of the woods, the car comes, and they get in and it takes them away, and Pooh stood there looking angry. And then we kind of went back and redid it, so Christopher Robin saves them, and Maria dies. It was kind of like that plot twist at the end to have her die, and I think no one kind of sees it coming. And so it kind of, just kill them all, why not?
But I have to say, I was upset when Reese told me that that's what the reshoots were going to be, because I was like, no,
I was
Maria.
bummed. I was mad.
But it's a final guy, and I kind of love that, and he's going to be in the sequel. And
I mean, I would like it if he didn't suck.
Yeah.
Like, I'm anti this pussy. Like, come on. She fought, man.
Yeah.
She earned that. You guys really blew up the car. It looked like.
Yeah.
I was like, man, they really left it all on the field.
So a story for that day. We basically had so much. This was part of the reshoots, and we had so much prepared for this car to come. The guys to come explode the car, and the day before the weather was going to be raining, windy, and the guy said, "It's the weather's too bad. We can't. We don't think we can do it. It's not. The wind's going to just blow the fire out. It's just not going to work." And we're kind of like, well, can we just try? And they're like, okay. And we had a very, very small window of time to have the SFX guys there. And we had to keep stopping the shoot because the torrential rain was just ridiculous. And the mud there is like this kind of white, chalky mud. And it's just...
Yeah, that made for a very interesting visual, them like covered in that like white...
And you can see the trees are just really bending in the wind and all the smoke blowing past. So it was very dramatic for the film, but absolute pain in the ass of filming.
And how close were you to that when it went up?
Yeah, I was pretty close.
Because I was like, damn, that looks not terribly far from that. I'm amazed.
We knew we only had one shot at it. It was do or die, wasn't it? So Reese was saying to me, whatever you do, you know, just keep going for them. Don't think. So
flinch.
no, yeah. So I'm just like, got to do this right. Don't react to it.
Don't fuck up.
Don't fuck up. Yeah. It helped that I couldn't hear fuck all. So. So I was like, is it blown up? Yeah, is it blown up?
Guys, this is really underwhelming.
Yeah, but yeah, I could feel the heat blast. I did feel that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which was quite nice because it was really cold that night.
Yeah, in between takes, we're just going over to the fire and just standing by the car like a bar.
Burgers out.
There's no nice warming tent with giant jackets on this set. This is everybody going to the burning car. Except just tires on the side of the road. Does anybody else have any questions? I see a hand popping up right there. Yeah, blue shirt.
So I have a question. So that scene after that chick kills Piglet, and then Pooh comes back, was that a Michael Myers reference?
I don't know.
Well, that's a great question for Reese. I wish he was here.
Yeah. Reese is literally landing now, so he might turn up. Who knows? But
let's call him up.
Yeah.
I feel like the good thing about horror, if you make it, is just being like, of course it is, because literally anything could be a Michael Myers reference.
Well, I'm trying to remember what he lists the reference. It's my mic.
But isn't it Halloween, Texas Chainsaw Massacre? What was the other one? Wrong Turn. And Strangers.
Oh, Wrong Turn. Big Wrong Turn.
Yeah, Wrong Turn, Strangers, Halloween, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I think is the four that he references and makes. So probably.
You put that in a blender, you have every millennial man making a horror movie, so that's probably
that's right.
And any other questions? Left side there. My left side.
Yeah, I wanted to know about the art direction. How much of it was part of already existing, and how much of it did you have to add? Like all that rustic stuff and the environment. I'm a little curious about the
their nest was really unsettling. That was really cool.
I mean, Scott and Reese, the director and producer and director, they are amazing at finding locations, and their Piglet and Pooh's hideout was pretty much entirely the Airbnb. So yeah, we changed it around a little bit and added some things here and there, but it is mostly how it was. Yeah, and we just got very lucky and sort of shot it very dark and lightning and all sorts. So yeah.
I think I saw another hand go up at the same time as that. Was there another question out there? Oh yeah, far side.
So, Winnie the Pooh seemed almost impossible to kill. Is that saying that Piglet's really not dead? He was just knocked unconscious?
I was wondering this. Oh.
I'm gonna let the associate producer answer that. Yeah. You handle it, Vince.
Piglet survives. He survives.
She worked so hard to kill him.
She did so well. She was so good.
I really liked her. All right. Time for one more. Let's say. No. Okay. We've tapped it out. I think we can end on Piglet made it, guys. Congratulations to Team Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Thank you.